When the U.S. government ended the shutdown, a bill was introduced during that process that essentially banned all THC beverages and related products, period. Welcome back to Arsenic Culture. I am your host, Matt, and with me, as usual, I got Jason, I Love Stoops Hale, joining us, the biggest Stoops fan that we have in the state of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Pushing for him to win every single game so
Yeah.
he can remain our coach for the next 20 years. We appreciate all the service you do for us, man.
Yeah. It's like the kid in class where you've failed every test up to this point, and you make an A- on one. You're like, oh hell, I should get an A in the class, right?
I know, yeah.
That's what I feel like our coach is right now.
Yeah.
But I digress.
I digress, yeah. I'm sure he'll never see this anyway.
Yeah.
So.
If he does, get out.
If he doesn't, I don't really care anyway. We're on the road again. We just left Chicago hanging out with our buddy Nick, going to Prop Day over at Goose Island and had a good time. And we were just having a discussion here about something that happened recently. Thought, hey, maybe let's throw these cameras on and record this real quick, because this is interesting. And this has, I think, major implications for a lot of businesses. There was a new bill. It was a bill, right?
Yeah.
When the U.S. government ended the shutdown, a bill was introduced during that process that essentially banned all THC beverages and related products, period.
Yeah.
Correct?
That's my understanding of it. I mean, you look at that too, the implications for Kentucky are massive, right? I mean,
huge.
We've got, I think everybody here knows about cornbread hemp. I mean, that's a big name right now.
Right.
They've made big expansions. So they started out with, I think, like CBD gummies, things like that.
Yeah.
For sleep. Then you have some of the Delta 9, Delta 8, whatever hell Delta they're on.
Yeah.
But they
There are
have some of
multiple
that
Deltas,
too.
yeah.
I mean, they have the seltzers now. And if you go in like Liquor Barn or Total Wine, so our big box stores, they have started out with an end cap. You know, you would see that.
Yeah.
And it's expanded into, right now at Liquor Barn on the other side of town in Lexington, it's probably
At
90% of one row now.
Yeah.
Like it's
at least,
plus
I
cold.
think, like four full, like,
it's even more
sections.
now.
Is it even
it's
more?
expanded, yeah.
Yeah, that's...
So it's really going to have a profound impact on us.
So here's what I understand so far, and we did an episode where we were talking about THC beverages, and we had a lot of comments, actually, a lot of interaction on that one, and how it's grown really fast. And we discussed that it's not like from a, I guess from an alcohol perspective, from like the industry perspective. A lot of people were afraid of THC seltzers cannibalizing alcohol-based beverages like beer, wine, spirits, whatever. So I think there's been a lot of lobbying from that sector to kind of squash or to limit the THC sector. You and I both agreed that I don't think there's going to be a lot of crossover there.
No, I don't. I think what you've seen with this bill going through, or who's pushed it, is bourbon too, right? So
Right,
the big
yeah.
industry in Kentucky, and I think what they're seeing is our sales are declining.
Yeah.
So they blame tariffs. That might have something to do with it. Hell,
Yeah.
don't care about politics at all, but
Yeah.
tariffs will definitely have some impact.
Yeah.
But it was already declining before that. And
It was on its way down.
Yeah. Then they also jumped on like, hey, this is THC seltzer taking away our market share. I don't think it is. I mean, maybe it's 1%. You know what I mean? Maybe it's a 1%er, but it's nothing. It's negligible.
I agree. It almost feels like a reach. It almost is like flailing. It's like we're hemorrhaging profits. We need to figure out how we can stop the bleeding. Let's just start affecting as many things as possible just to have an effect.
Yeah.
And THC might have a niggling effect on the actual sales of bourbon. Let's just talk specifically about bourbon.
Sure.
But I don't think it's substantial enough to warrant, lobbying against the entire industry.
I think if you had to pick one, I mean, I think it has more of an effect on beer, right? So they're both canned, if you think of it that way, or like a White Claw. I could see people maybe going to like a Keeneland or an outdoor event, tailgating, maybe grab one of those, like the THC seltzers versus a alcoholic drink. Maybe they're thinking less hangover, those type things.
Yeah.
But if you're drinking bourbon, like, you're drinking a bottle of bourbon. You're drinking a pour. You're not.
Yeah.
I'm not drinking a beer. I'm drinking a bourbon. So that's a totally different thing.
And it's a different type of high. It's a different type of effect.
100% different effect. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you drink a couple of THC cans, and honestly, you're ready for a nap. You know, but like the thing with alcohol, it has a much more social aspect to it than THC does. Now again, I don't go out and I'm not buying THC seltzers at the bar. I don't know if people are.
I don't know that you can anymore. Speaking of that, so one of the local breweries in Lexington, I don't want to name them just in case, but they used to have a little cooler there where you could buy THC seltzers. I'd see people having them there on site.
Oh, interesting.
The last time I went,
I know exactly.
They had a sign up that said these are for off-site consumption only. Like, I guess there's a law, maybe something about it. Maybe somebody's cracked down on it.
I had not heard that, but it very well.
I haven't either.
It very well could be. So here's what I understand about the actual bill that's being passed. Up until now, hemp is classified. Do you know what hemp is?
I mean, yeah, it's
marijuana.
Yeah, it's a marijuana plant.
For all intents and purposes, it's literally the same plant as marijuana.
It doesn't have like the buds, right?
Well, yeah. The only differentiating factor on paper is that hemp has lower THC than marijuana does.
Sure.
And I think it's 0.3 milligrams per dry ounce or something like that. But hemp is a marijuana plant that is physically bred to have lower THC content. They can still use that stuff to produce CBD, but the idea was hemp, especially hundreds of years ago, during like wartime efforts and stuff. I think during World War II, which wasn't 100 years ago, there was a big push in hemp to create like fiber for like rope and stuff like that.
They did some clothes too.
Yeah,
pants, stuff like that.
After that, hemp industry was essentially shuttered because they didn't need it anymore.
Yeah.
And then there was a widespread bill that passed, I think was it like the early 2000s? I think it was 70s, to where they essentially outlawed marijuana and just threw hemp in with that because it was essentially marijuana. And there wasn't enough support to keep hemp going, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward to like the 2000s, and there was a lot of buzz that hemp was good for other things other than fucking rope, you know, let's be honest. And a lot of that hemp is produced and manufactured in Kentucky. So Mitch McConnell did a strong push. I think it was it 2018?
That sounds right.
He passed the bill to differentiate on paper hemp from marijuana so producers could grow, produce, sell hemp and make money.
Yep.
And use it for like infrastructure and goods and stuff like that. Going back to like the rope and textiles and stuff like that.
I think CBD was a big part of that too, right? So
CBD
you had a lot of like pain control things.
Yes.
And then we started looking at holistic medicine a little more.
Yes.
And people with like arthritis, stuff like that. I mean, they're big into their CBD creams that really work for these people. And again,
there is some benefit to that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I've seen it with people I know.
Well, what happened after Mitch McConnell made this push to legalize hemp is that hemp production was through the roof and CBD production was through the roof because everybody was flooding the market.
Correct.
Hey, it's a new industry, new product, we can make a lot of money. Ended up becoming so saturated that, as everybody knows, in the past 5 years, you can go to any gas station and find CBD ointments, you know? And it becomes so ubiquitous that the market's saturated, and then all of a sudden, all these hemp manufacturers, they can't make money like they were intended to make money, so all of a sudden, they're screwed again. Come to find out, some enterprising people realized that you could take the CBD in hemp, go through a short catalyst period or some sort of change, and you could essentially turn it into THC. Yep. And you could get high off it.
THCA or something.
Yeah, so there's like Delta 8, there's Delta 10, there's different variations on this THC that quote unquote don't fall under the definition of actual marijuana.
Yeah.
So they seized on a loophole in the system to be able to continue to manufacture hemp and then use it to make legal weed.
Yeah.
And get high off it. Since that loophole has existed over the past few years or whatever, the market again has really been saturated with a lot of products that you can get high off of.
Yeah.
And this is where THC seltzers come from. What hemp manufacturers found out is that they can make a whole lot of money off this where they weren't making money before. We created an entire industry, and that's what we'll call it, THC seltzers, but there's gummies and there's all kinds of things that you can do, but we'll just say, for the sake of argument, we're talking THC seltzers here. I
think it's a big thing. You talked about money there, so I think that might be the push with alcohol coming after them too, right? So beer and bourbon. So they're taxed at the normal tax rate in Kentucky, which is 6%.
Right.
That's what CBD and those products are. They're 6%, like those THC seltzers we're talking about.
Yeah.
Or the whatever, Delta something seltzers.
Sure.
Those are 6% regular. So if you go into the store though, you have like the alcohol tax, right? So you have that on top.
Yes.
So I think that's what they're saying too, is it's not a level playing field if they're considering them the same product that we are. You're only buying those in mainly like liquor stores.
Sure.
So that's where they're coming from.
That's from the government perspective.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the big business, right? So bourbon, beer, they're like, well, hell, we're not getting taxed like they are. I mean, we're getting taxed a lot more, but they're making a lot more money than us. And if you look at the prices, when you go in the store, you'll see 4-packs of these THC seltzers, and they're like 20-something bucks.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're $5-6 a can, like think of Michelob Ultra can, the Slims, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But if you look at like beer, I mean, they're looking at like $16 for a 4-pack of 16 ounces.
Yeah.
16 or 18.
Oh, yeah.
And that's got the tax built in essentially.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Less profit margin, more on the THC.
Sure. Yeah. But it's still, you look at these companies, well, you talk about like Cornbread Hemp. Mm-hmm. There's some other brands.
I guess the Grain has one of the breweries has one.
Do they really?
The name. Yeah.
Okay. There's a lot of brands you can find on the shelves, but this industry it started to boom really fast, and there's a lot of talk that it's going to be a really huge surging market in the next few years. We did talk about in the past, I don't think it was going to take off quite as much as people thought they were, but lo and behold, now this new law is passed. I think it was, there was like a representative out of Oklahoma that started it, but Mitch McConnell, again, was a strong push in putting it in this new bill.
Yeah.
Ironically, since he's the one that help fund or help push through the bill, to make hemp legal. Now they're saying that all these variations, Delta 8, Delta 10, THCA, everything that was created as a variation of actual THC, now are included in the description of marijuana, which means if you have any sort of marijuana derivative that is greater than 0.3% or 0.3% THC per ounce, or whatever the definition is, it's illegal.
Essentially, it would make all those products
because
you'd have to take them off the market.
Yeah, because one can could be anywhere 5 milligrams to 10 milligrams.
I think the lowest I've seen is 2.5 when I've seen them in store.
Yeah, I've seen 2.
And the highest I think I've seen is 10.
That's exactly what I've seen.
There's nowhere near where the threshold
This is saying if you do that, it has to be less than 0.3%. For the entire can, which is so negligible, it's pointless.
Yeah, that's what.
So that's how it's ineffective, like banning it. So
now, I think they did give what they say once it goes into effect, they have a year.
So it's basically a year from now.
Yeah,
and they're doing that to give businesses a chance to figure out how to shut down.
Yeah,
because that's what it is, right?
I mean, the industry that you brought into Kentucky for jobs and all these things is now essentially going to be null and void.
Yeah.
We do have Rand Paul out of like, I think Western Kentucky is where he's at.
Yeah.
He's actually been a pretty big voice going against this, which is crazy because I think they're both Republicans.
They are.
I mean, either way.
Yeah, Rand Paul's kind of a wild card. Like,
he's a weird dude.
He's got some weird opinions.
Well, I don't trust any politician, but besides the point. Yeah. I think it's kind of weird to see, at least he's trying to take up, in my opinion, what I've seen, take up for Kentucky, take up for those jobs, because our state, we can't really afford to lose any jobs.
So the hemp market, as it stands, is Mitch McConnell passed that hemp bill in 2018, and he's trying to create the market and a boon for Kentucky to have more money, more revenue coming in. That's what he's doing with the hemp bill. But the thing is, like, nobody was really buying hemp for hemp anyway.
Yeah.
It was the only way they were making money was CBD.
You see some bracelets every now and then.
Right, yeah. That's not, I mean, for industrial purposes, nobody's actually using it because there's cheaper alternatives that are more efficient. So CBD came along, okay, this is good, became saturated. Hemp producers are screwed even though it's legal. THC comes along, holy hell, like, we can finally make money. And now it's getting shut down again. Yeah. I think what we're seeing is that hemp is obsolete. Like, the whole point of it is, well, there is no point now. Like it's not going to be able to be used.
Yeah,
for anything.
we're not buying shirts. We don't need the shirts. Don't need the pants. I mean, if you buy a T-shirt, let's say that's regular, made of cotton or whatever, probably $20, $25. The hemp version might be $50, just because it's you can get the cotton cheaper.
Exactly, and even the other uses, I think they say you can use it for biodegradable plastic, which is great, but again, it's too expensive. We don't have the established infrastructure in order to mitigate the costs. Same thing with rope, like. You can just use like nylon, and it's so much cheaper. So nobody's actually buying hemp. So what we're in effect doing is we're destroying the hemp industry.
Yeah,
we might as well just say hemp is pointless now.
Yeah,
that's what we're doing. So not only are we killing that industry, we're killing the industry of the THC seltzers, which we just created. So what benefit are we getting out of passing this bill?
Well, I mean,
it's a question.
I don't know. I think what we're selling this bill on is to keep people safe, right? So they're saying it's unregulated, which I guess it is because
it very much is.
It's not under the alcohol board. It's under the TT, whatever the hell it's called. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's part of it. I guess there's some of these things. I mean, they have vapes, they have edibles, all these things, and some of those have that psychoactive effect, right? Like marijuana does. So I think that's what they're getting onto. It's again people that kind of pushing that, but. I've not heard the news stories. I've not seen in person. I don't know of anybody like overdosing or getting, high and committing a crime.
I haven't either, but I got two things to say. So one, I think this was a matter of time. You consider Mitch McConnell specifically, who's behind it. The dude's been pushing this. He's been pushing, I guess, his own values in his agenda forever. So I think it was a matter of time before he was like, oh no, we don't want kids smoking the devil's lettuce because they're all going to get addicted and die from overdosing on marijuana, right? I mean, that's been the push behind marijuana in the first place, which...
Yeah, just watch Reefer Madness.
Yeah, which we all know is ridiculous. So the fact that we're still pushing that narrative is kind of insane, but it's because we're listening to a 88-year-old dude.
Well, in his defense, I mean, I think it's not him. We're using his name because that's who's behind it right now. But it's politicians in our system, and it's a long story, but I mean, the lobbyists, right? So you have a lot of money coming at you, funding these things and pushing your views and trying to change your views. And if you got the bourbon industry, which is huge in Kentucky, you got the beer industry too.
Yeah.
You got all these things pushing against you.
Yeah.
Things are going to move probably. And that's where we're at. So I'm interested to see where it goes from here. I know you have one more thing, but I'm thinking ahead. Like, I've not heard one thing that I know of from these companies that have the THC seltzers. Have you? I've not seen like the press release.
No,
I've not seen anything.
Well, this happened very, very recently.
It's only happened like last week.
A lot of these companies have to be scrambling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what do we do with all the millions of dollars we've invested in this business? Now we're going to have to shut our doors. But that kind of brings to the second point as far as like the effects and the reaction from the public, because we had talked about, I came back from Europe and the way they handle vice over there, especially in places like Amsterdam where weed is legal. You treat people as being able to...
Adults, responsible.
Yeah, to kind of
adults.
like, learn and adapt for themselves. And eventually they become acclimated to the point to where something that is bad for them, they're not intrinsically going to just abuse it and kill themselves. They understand. Alcohol is literally the perfect example because it's legal and it can kill you.
Yeah.
People die from alcohol abuse all the time, and there's a lot of people that are addicted to it. It's still legal, but we treat marijuana like it is worse for you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think we do.
And then you look at places like Europe where the drinking age is 16 in some areas. Weed is legal, and everybody is like healthier over there than they are over here, and everybody's fine. Once you take vice and you make it, you need to regulate it to a degree.
Sure.
But you make it available to where people can get used to it. They become desensitized, and it's not something to be afraid of. A new industry like the THC seltzers that comes out, there's going to be a push for everybody to quote unquote abuse it, as it were. Not as in, we're just going to chug THC seltzers until we go to the hospital, but people are trying to get used to it and trying to figure it out, But once that kind of luster wears off, it'll just fall into the mainstream line like anything else. This is my opinion, but I think that's exactly what they've done over in Europe, and they were able to achieve.
What you said is they have all those things legal over there, but they've also banned high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah,
right? Like,
additives, artificial flavors.
That's probably worse for you than those things.
It is, yeah, and a lot of that leads to a lot of other issues like obesity and like increased cancer rates. Like
to increase healthcare risk, and, all over.
And then that leads to like a horrible like insurance infrastructure, for health insurance. I mean that's something we need to really be talking about. Not is 16-year-old Jimmy gonna buy a weed gummy at a gas station and end up taking a longer nap than he needs to.
I don't think 16-year-old Jimmy is. I think you gotta be 18 or 21, don't you? I think.
Well, still, I don't know.
Either way.
Yeah, either way. I mean, we're splitting hairs on something that I think we need a new generation of people to look at this with fresh eyes.
I think it's a common sense aspect of anything, right? Like, you got to weigh the pros and cons of that. And in my eyes, I don't really see what you're doing. It doesn't make any sense. But I don't know. Hot topic for sure.
I agree. I think the introduction of this is going to do overall just a lot more harm than good.
I'd agree.
I would have liked to have them actually introduce language into the bill that formalized it as an industry rather than just say you can't do it.
Yeah.
That feels very short-sighted to me, but I think this is driven by an agenda that is not looking at the actual well-being of the nation.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's not taking it to heart. So
we've also not heard from the people that really rely on those products, right? So people for medical issues, instead of taking pain pills, they're taking that. I mean, that's a big deal too.
Yeah. So I don't know. I would really like to hear what people think. Sound off in the comments. We had a lot of banter in the last video we did, so I wanted to hear what people say about this. Within a year, it's either going to be THC seltzers and their their gummies and all that stuff are going to be completely gone, or maybe somebody like Rand Paul is going to come in and maybe do some change to where they can formalize it as an industry. But we got a lot of businesses that are probably getting ready to shut their doors, and the entire industry is just going to be completely gone. So let us know what you all think. I want to see how this plays out. It's very interesting. But thanks. For more Arsenic Culture, you can check us out on all our socials. We are at Arsenic Culture.
Like and subscribe on YouTube.
We'll see you on the next one.